right, all right. Hello, hello, Brenda. We are live,
Hello.
and I am super
Awesome.
excited to see you today.
Same for me. Super good to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you? How have you been? I know you just arrived from Germany and like a
Yes,
couple of days ago, right? How was your trip?
that's right. I loved it. I was performing, which I love. So it was exhilarating to be 100% honest. Always an adventure uh, to do first to travel and also to make a performance go right. All the little details that go into it is always, I have to see it as an adventure. And it was super fun.
Amazing. That's
Yes.
amazing, amazing, Brenda. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. My students and followers are people who Russian-speaking people who live in actually 56 countries, and they learn English. They're interested in traveling, exploring opportunities, meeting new people. So every Wednesday we go online doing this kind of interviews with very interesting people, and I'm super excited that I can call you a friend and
Thank you.
that you agreed to come today over for this interview. So I think it will be right to start with some introduction. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself and about your achievements so far, so we can, get to know you a little bit more.
Sure. First of all, it was very nice to meet you. It's great to call you a friend as well. And hello to everybody who's watching in all the 50 something countries. It must be really nice to be part of the community that keeps you together despite the distance. So hello to everybody. I'm Bрэndoi Mari. I'm from a small island in the Caribbean Sea called Puerto Rico. And if you remember the song Despacito, then that video, it was shot in Puerto Rico. So I'm from there specifically. I grew up there loving music. I used to go to a local church in my community where I was singing all the time with a live band. And that's how I had the opportunity to start my career, you can say, in music. But yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter. I travel around the world performing, and I love music. I love to help to make people happy, basically.
Wow, wow. That was actually my question. Like, what is, because art is like so special and it's super important to have a purpose, like why do you do this? Like, what is art for you? What is singing for you?
For me, singing is very simple. It's just to cause a beautiful effect in another person. That's it. There's nothing else. It's always been that way. Like, just if you can add something to that, would be to, like, it has a spiritual element to you. It's very close to your heart, to your feelings, and to your soul, and it connects very fast to other people's feelings and their soul.
Yeah, totally, totally agree. By the way, you started singing. It was so beautiful. I have to ask you, can you actually continue a little bit? And I
I'm
should,
sure
use
I'm
this
sure some
opportunity.
I'm sure you can sing with me as well.
I mean, I would, if we were live, yes, but it's a little bit online, so I don't want to spoil that, so technically.
One of
So
these
great.
days.
What's that?
One of these days.
One of these days, exactly. So would you sing for us?
Yeah, sure. So quiero ver bailar tu pelo, quiero ser tu ritmo, que le enseñes a mi boca tus lugares favoritos, favorito, favorito, baby. Déjame sobrepasar tus zonas de peligro hasta provocar tu ritmo y que olvides tu apellido despacito.
Wow, wow,
Thank
amazing,
you.
amazing. Well, you definitely fulfill your purpose of making,
Yes.
your communication and people happy and stuff like that. By the way, guys who loved it, let us know in the chat. I see we're joining in, so that's amazing, Brenda. Okay, excellent. So
You're
very,
welcome.
yeah. So let me see. I've prepared some very nice questions for you. And since most of my audience are really, really interested in learning a language, traveling, exploring opportunities, I'd like to ask you some cultural questions first, because that's has been of interest for me and for my audience, for a long time.
Sure.
So you said you're from Puerto Rico. This is a part of the United States, correct?
Yes, yes.
Good,
It's a
good.
commonwealth. It's
Yeah.
called Commonwealth. It's like it's an independent state, but it's really part of the U. It's a U.S. territory.
Yeah, because basically, if you're from Puerto Rico, you're basically American. Like
Yes.
you have
You're
a
born
passport.
American. Yes. There's an agreement between Puerto Rico and the United States for many, like 100 years ago or something like that. Where like, you know, if you're born in the island, you have the same rights. The only thing you can't do is vote for the president unless you move to the mainland, in which then you can be a resident of the mainland and then you can vote for the president. But other than that, it's part of the US, yes.
Amazing. So, which makes English as an official language? That's probably makes sense why your English is so good, or why would you say so?
Okay, that's a good question, actually. That very good question. Well, to be honest, we were for 500 years a Spanish colony. So first, you know, it was the original people, which were called Taínos, which is very interesting. You can look it up online. And they were very artistic people, which to this day, we have that kind of line to the present. But then the Spanish came and we're for 500 years. So we speak Spanish. When you're in the streets, that's what you hear. Then as an official language, we also have English. But the reality is that our culture is so strong, like the Spanish is so strong and the Spanish culture is so powerful that we still speak Spanish and that's all you hear on the streets. But we add a little bit of English here and there. We have our own way of pronouncing the words, our own particular island style also of pronunciation. And you can say it is an official language in Puerto Rico, but really what is spoken on a daily is in Spanish.
Well, anyway, your English is perfect. You know, like it's. I would definitely. Or what do you attribute it to? Like, did you do anything special, or you just have a lot of communication? Maybe you spent some time in US, or like, what would you say?
Both. When I was little, since I was 4, I went to this school where you took all the subjects in English, and we had American teachers. So I was exposed to hearing it throughout my childhood. And I had to study math, science, history, everything in English except Spanish class from the age like of 7 or something like that. So you start with everything in Spanish in this school, and then one English subject, one English class. And then after a few years, you're switched to everything in English and then your Spanish class. And then all my education was like that. And I also lived in the US here and there. So I had the ability to practice. And to be honest, English is something that I thought, like, I appreciate that my parents my mother and my grandmother and my family supported me to be in this school where it was a private school where you would learn English, right? But I thought, you know, what good is this going to be? Like as a kid, you're like, is this ever going to serve me anything in life, you know? And as a matter of fact, no matter what you do, it opens so many doors. And for example, I sing a lot in English. I write songs in English and Spanish. I can communicate with many people from different parts of the world because it's a universal language right now. So yeah, that's the answer, but also that's a realization. Like I always thought, was it going to be worth it? Like, was it worth it at all that effort, you know, to learn so much? And it definitely pays off.
Wow, I love it. I love it. That's definitely what I'm preaching every day. You know, you guys, you gotta learn English because so many doors open for you. Like it's literally like one of my lines. So we definitely on the same page here. Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
Excellent, excellent. So how many countries have you been to? Because I mean, you travel, you perform in different countries. So share with us a little bit on that.
Yes. That's a dream that I never, you know, it's not like I decided, oh, I'm going to travel so many countries, but sometimes you think big enough. And then also life has an element of surprise when you're working hard and you're dreaming big and you're focusing on your goals, which is very important. So then all of a sudden I had the opportunity with music and because of also thinking about it because of English as well, to perform in different parts of the world. And one thing led to the next. But in total, I have been, the last time I sat down to calculate that I had a moment to think about it, it was like 40 different cities in the world. I'm sure now I'm like 50 or 60 or something like that. And most of the continents except Antarctica, Africa, but I've been to Australia, I've been to Europe, Latin America, South America, Central America, North America, Caribbean, Japan, Asia, different parts of the world. And it's a fantastic, it's a great experience.
Wow. What would you say it gave you? Like, what makes it basically this experience? What did it change for you? Let's say what you didn't have if you didn't have that kind of question.
Oh, like how it changed my life, you could say?
Yeah, probably your outlook or the way you look at things, stuff.
Oh my God, yes, totally. Well, I think I've always heard when I was growing up, traveling is a way of learning. And I'm sure many people that are listening, they are also, they're foreigners in the country that they're living, which I have been. I'm in Mexico right now. I'm a foreigner, so I have that experience. And you empathize a lot with the people that are also foreigners, because you know what it's like to be in another country that is not your country. But at the same time, it gives you more understanding of different realities, not only your local reality, your bubble, your world, but it opens many, many realities and much respect for your person, for your culture, for other people, a lot of tolerance for different realities, and a lot of affinity also for, like you learn to love many different cultures. You see the beauty. Each one culture has its good things and its bad things. But definitely the good things are amazing. So, you go to Japan and people are so respectful, and you learn something from them, from their viewpoint, and how they value friendship, and how they respect and have an honor and have a word. So I take that away. You're like, wow, I want to be like that, and then you go to another country and you realize, wow, what an appreciation of art. Like, I don't know, like, for example, France, has such a richness in the art, so you learn something, you get inspired by that. So definitely, yeah, it's made me a different person. Like, it's given me like a broad view about the world, like a lot of reality. Not only the reading a book is good, watching videos is good, but just being there and handling life and seeing what you like, what you don't like, and making it go right. Again, I think if you have to see life as an adventure to enjoy it, So yeah,
Wow.
definitely, it's giving me that viewpoint of, like, yeah, it's gonna be hard at times to travel. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. Wow, totally. So do you have a list of top 3 countries you really like and you like, okay, that's my top 3. What would you say?
Top 3. Wow, that's hard. Okay, I'm gonna exclude Puerto Rico because that would be unfair. But which country was impressive? I think well, Paris is a beautiful city, of course. Moscow was very impressive. Honestly, that was like something that a lot of people from my side of the world don't get to experience. The Red Square,
Nice.
like finding the food that I liked that was similar to the one in Puerto Rico, you could say. And find, like the people, the connection, the people connect a lot with music in my experience.
Mm.
And then also I liked which other I love let me see. Japan was amazing.
Mm.
Very different, but so organized, so aesthetic, so modern, so cool. So I would just say those 3, but it's really like, probably I'm forgetting something that was amazing that I'm not mentioning, but those 3 were like epic for me.
I love it. I love it. Okay, amazing. So would you say, my question is about art, because you go perform in all these different countries, right? And cultures are different. As you mentioned, appreciation of art is on a different level, right? So what helps you to actually maybe prepare yourself, when you go and perform with a certain audience? how do you know if it's going to be accepted, well enough? And is there any tricks you use or, life hacks you can share with us?
Yes, I would definitely, what I do is the people that I'm connecting with, that are helping create the event in particular, I would try to find out what the reality is, like what songs could work with that audience. Because I have a lot of songs that I could sing. I have a little bit of Latin, a little bit of funky, rock. I have through the years, I've developed some repertoire, so it's getting expanded, and some audiences are more pop. So I would try to get as much feedback and be open to what is needed and wanted in that particular for that particular audience, because also in one city you can have many audiences, many cultures in one city. For example, I was in Germany 2 days ago in Dusseldorf, and I was inside a whole community of Japanese people, but I was performing not for Japanese but for Germans. But I mean, it was a whole area of the city that is the second biggest community outside of Tokyo of Japanese people. So it's interesting, you could have different audiences even in one city. You'd be surprised, right? So you want to check with the person who is coordinating that you have the right reality with the audience, in my case. So I try to find out, what is the culture, what is accepted, what kind of music they would like, so that I can prepare something for them. Yes.
Wow. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. It's interesting. It's like in working with a customer or marketing wise. You always like know your customer, like prepare for negotiations, and it's like preparation takes place, right? Because the reason I'm asking this question is because people have so many kind of misconceptions about artistic people. Like they think this is like, okay, you're just born like that, like you just wing it or whatever. But it's actually, would you say this is also something which you need to prepare for, you need to practice, you need to like, it's a lot of work, to be a good artist. Would you say that?
Yes, I think anything that is worth it, you have to work, not in a like a heavy kind of way, like, oh my God, I have to work. Oh, this is so horrible, but more in like, yes, I'm going to put one more block. I'm going to learn what, like it takes sweat, and sometimes the throat hurts or sometimes you're jet lagged and you have barriers. So you have to confront, or like confronting, meaning like, being able to face the barriers, because you love so much what you do that you're like, okay, what is it? What do I have to handle? Okay, yes, I couldn't sleep. How can I put my sleep in? Okay, I have to learn another song. I have to practice, practice, practice. So it does take a lot of hard work in terms of your craft, in terms of your, just doing it as much as you can, and developing the craft of singing, and also developing the craft of performing, which is a whole nother animal. You could be singing, but if you cannot transport it to say something in a stage, that's another art in itself, So just practicing, being in front of people, having different experiences and drilling a lot, like a lot of practice. Yes, definitely. I wrote a little blog in my website about, are artists born, or can they be created? And I think the essence of that, because I thought about that, and I think it's whatever you decide. It boils down to your decision. You decide you want to be something, you do it. Nobody can tell you you can't do it, because if you decide and then you put the hard work in, it's yours,
Wow, I love it. I love it. And by the way, just a word for my audience. I'm going to post below this video after we're done with the interview. You guys going to get the website page, and you can go check out the blog and connect with Marie on her Instagram. And yeah, so anyway, go ahead, connect with such amazing people.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things, I wasn't planning on saying that, but I had an honor of singing karaoke with Brenda.
I knew it was gonna come out.
I know. I mean, it was so amazing, and I mean, you inspired me to work on my voice. I'll be honest with you. Like, yeah, and thank you so much that you're saying that actually artists can be created, and you helped me rehabilitate a lot of my artistic desire. Let's put it this way.
Really?
I love, yeah, absolutely. I love you performing.
Wow.
And
Thank
I
you.
want to go, yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to that thing you mentioned, that every nation or like every country has its own, you know, preference, right? So, I mean, again, I'm going to ask you this question. If you don't have a fast answer, that's fine. But would you guess anything about the Russian-speaking audience? Something they would, because you've been to Moscow, right? Like you had experience performing for Russians. So anything? Just curious.
Like something particular about Moscow people and Russians that I have met that are from other parts of Russia also, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just whatever you can remember or say. You know, like Russian speaking people, what they like. You know, when you perform, what do you see?
Okay, this is very interesting. I'm having so many realizations with you, Tatiana. You're amazing, really.
Thank you.
You make like everything flower, like blossom, you know. Um, First of all, I want to say before I forget, every time I'm arriving somewhere on the airplane, I can feel the vibe. I don't know if it happens to anybody else, but you can feel even before landing the the people, you know, what they're going through, the struggles, the beautiful things. You can feel the life there, you know. And then once you arrive, you have more, it's more close to you. You have more reality and you confirm what you were perceiving even from the airplane, you know, or from before. And in particular, my experience with Russians are, what I love about Russians is that you're honest.
Mm.
This I love because, for example, in Latin countries, people are really nice in Latin countries. I'm not saying otherwise, but it's more like we're more like, hey, ha, you know, like it's very expressive physically. And when I arrive in Moscow, people they look serious, but they are not serious. That was my experience. Like I'm not gonna, you know, they don't respond the same on the streets, like, hey, you know, necessarily. But then you get to know them and they're the most beautiful people. They're the best friends. They make things go right. They're hardworking. And as a performer, I love that they love rock and roll, you know? This was my
Wow.
experience, yes. But they love
Wow.
rock, like Beatles, 60s music. You know, the kind of music that I love to sing. We connected, at least in the show that I did in Moscow. It was a private event. And I, you know, there was people from different ages, but I thought, okay. And they look so, you know, like so conservative, you know. But then as soon as we started the music, the second song, people were crazy. And I'm there, they're just like Latin people. What is this? You know, what is this? That was my experience, you know, like just, you know, letting go and being willing to experience fully the music. That's what I saw. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I have to ask, would you remember what the song was? And maybe I can ask you to sing again.
I sang with a band. Listen to this. We put together a band of Russians and we rehearsed and they did not speak English.
Mm.
Only the keyboard player understood a little bit. So we played, and we had a blast, but we played, I think we played Adele, Rolling in the Deep. This was
Mm.
back in 2013. And we played a Beatles song. I think it was Get Back, Get Back, Get Back, Get Back to where you once belonged. Get back, get back to where you once belonged. Jojo was a man who thought he was a woman, but he was another man. Jojo left his home and Tucson, Arizona for some California grass. Get back, get back, get back to where you once belonged. You got to get back to where you once belonged. Get back, Joe. Something like that.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're
I really
welcome.
appreciate that you know, we can just do it on the spot. I love your singing, by the way, as I said before. You have a beautiful, beautiful voice, one of a kind.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yes, I sang like Beatles, we did Alicia Keys, we did rock songs, a little bit, was like a very rounded show. And I was surprised how another realization, music also is like English, you know, it's a universal language. So it's very beautiful also to go to anywhere in the world. That's the second thing I would promote, English and music. Because you
Wow,
can
I love it.
communicate. Yes.
Yeah. Music definitely is a universal language, because I got to experience, it was actually, I'd say, even spiritual experience, because when I was on your show on the Caribbean just recently, and we had people from like, okay, Taiwan, Germany, America, Latin America, Israel, like I don't know how many nations was there, probably like 10, and they all connected to the music. I mean, it was just unbelievable. It's just like, it's like as if at that moment, no, like no struggles, no like wars, no, like nothing exists. It just, you become one. And that's so
Yeah.
beautiful about art and about music, that it's like, it's something which unites you. This is amazing.
This
So
is so beautiful. It's
yeah,
true.
yeah. And I mean,
And I
it's,
love how we can unite, you know, no matter the country, no matter the personal problems, they just dissolve, they go away.
yeah.
And it's, you know, life is perfect for the duration of the song.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you know what I experienced after? That people before the show started, they were very much separated. Like they were individualized. Like, okay,
Oh,
couples came together or friends came together. They were kind of like, everybody was separated into small groups. But after the show, because there was so much reality in the music and in the show, it's like people started to connect. People started to talk to each other,
right.
meet each other. And I mean, for me, the reason I'm saying that this has been a spiritual experience, because I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable. I was just observing all this, how
Wow.
magical it is on the people that, you know, that really good artists do. So that's, I mean, that's a big acknowledgement for you, because I don't see it all the time. It's with some specific people who are really
Wow.
able and put the purpose out there, right?
Thank you. Wow, I'm speechless. And but you know what is true is the power of music. And then what happens, which is my favorite part, is when it's not the performer only causing something, but everybody is causing this show. So what happens is, like, if they want to dance, they dance. If they want to sing, they sing. And it becomes a group.
Yeah.
Because what happened is we became a group. And it's not like we're necessarily all the time talking, and we're different countries, different languages, but all of a sudden we're united because of the music and the experience, you know, and that's, thank you so much for telling me. And wow.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'll be even more honest with you. Like after your show, we made some friends, and I'm not sure we would have made those friends if not your
If
show.
it
Because
was,
exactly, because everybody was singing, dancing, and I mean, the next day we saw each other at the hotel. I'm like, oh my God, hello, how are you? You know, where are you from, and stuff like that. There's like, it's just a lot of reality already. So yeah, I love it.
so true. And I gotta say, you did such a wonderful job singing.
Oh.
I was surprised. Like, you took the, no, you have no fear of standing in front of a lot of people. And that's awesome. That's a big quality, and also a beautiful voice yourself.
Thank you very much. Well, to hear that from
You're
a
welcome.
professional, that's a big thing.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Well, thank you very much. So, speaking of no fear, by the way, like because you mentioned that performing is another kind of art. I mean, one thing is your voice and your technical abilities, right? But another one is actually communicating to people. So, what would you say are three key points to be able to stand out there? You know, be with the audience, get rid of the fear, stuff like that.
Okay, I think the first thing would be to prepare your product as much as possible so you don't have attention on it. Sometimes, because of the nature of the business and things that can happen, it's not 100% possible, but you want to practice as much what you have to do before, so that you don't have, that your attention is free to actually sing the song for the people, you know? You're not like, oh my God, what was the next lyric? Oh my God. But sometimes I'm telling you, sometimes you have to make it go right regardless and pretend that your attention is 100% there, even though, yeah, recently I had to learn a song 2 or 3 hours before a show. It was a very important show, and I learned it, and I did it, and I was reading. And it was not ideal, but then I try to put as much emotion and, like also when you're doing this for a long time, you have so much practice that it kind of helps you continue. But the ideal would be to prepare a song or a product as much as possible, so that when you communicate, you have absolutely no attention on the technical aspect, and you're 100% to communicate, right? You're there to communicate. The second thing that has helped me tremendously in terms of performance is to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself is probably the most difficult ability in all of the abilities of life. Just being there can be a challenge, because you're like, oh my God, I left the stove on. Oh my God, my cat, he's probably hungry or whatever, oh, I have this problem at home. But if you can just put that aside, it's like almost like you're a doctor and you're going to help a patient. To put it in a comparison, you cannot be like, oh my God, I'm hungry. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, I don't like, no, you have to be fully there for the patient, for example. So as a performer, I see it like I'm there for the people. I'm there for them, not them for me. Of course, we create something beautiful where we're all, exchanging. But if I don't get that, I have to be still responsible for everything, So I'm there. Basically, I try to be there and communicate. And I try to occupy the space where the audience, I try to be there with them, basic. That's the second one. And I think the third one is just, to try to actually communicate, to say something and to be interested in people, to be there for them. And if there's any, this is like a fourth one, but if there's anything that is not perfect, you're not going to put attention on that unless you can use it for something really cool, unless you can pull it off as a joke that is so freaking amazing that it's actually better, but unless it's that, you just continue and just try to give the best product and the best communication possible, you're doing something, you're creating something. So you focus on that in the moment. So I would say, yeah, preparation, being there, and really communicating.
Wow, I love it. I love it. That's really, that's what I see you doing also, because when you're performing, you're totally there, you're communicating, and you're like try to involve everybody. So that's amazing. It's a part of the show, which makes it so special.
Thank you. I never think of these things,
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, that's what makes a professional. That's what you said. Like, you practice so much that it just became your second nature. And I mean, it's like learning a language. Like, your ideal case scenario is like, your ideal scene is to master the language, so like technical aspect of it so well, so you don't think about it, but you focus on the person in front of you, because language is just a tool of communication. Like, that's why when we work with the students, that's the standard. I said, okay, listen, we need to drill, we need to practice, we need to do exercises every day, so that you are in front of a native speaker, or you go travel, it automatically comes to your mind what you need to say. You're not like thinking, okay, which page did I read it on? This is like, it has to be instant. And that's like the speed of the reaction and stuff like that. It comes with practice. Like, that's the only thing you can get it with, for sure.
Exactly. And to get that practice, you also must understand all the words. Like, for example, just using as an analogy, music, the first thing I do is I make sure I don't have any words I do not understand on that lyric.
Nice.
And usually the ones I start like having trouble, there's usually like a word that I don't understand. So I'm sure also, like, the more words we really understand, then it becomes more second nature, and it's a matter of practicing.
Nice, nice. Didn't plan the
Yeah.
question, but I'm gonna ask you. Like, part of our English course is that, and that's the point I promote because I strongly believe in that. Um, when you actually sing songs in English, it helps you, to get more understanding of the language, more, to remember the words and stuff like that. So, would you say that singing in English can definitely help to master the language? I mean, it's not a substitution for learning for sure, but it can bring English and a language you're learning into your life so you actually enjoy it and make it learning process more enjoyable.
1,000,000%. In fact, I met somebody one time that learned English because of Michael Jackson.
Oh my
And
God.
because he wanted to understand the lyrics.
Wow.
So it was his way of conquering the language, like just because he had so much love for Michael Jackson that it's like, I gotta understand this, and I want to know what he's talking about, So that was a first step, Michael Jackson. It's interesting. So I would definitely like have everybody in your course singing if they could.
Yeah.
Because not only it just brings your makes your day better. That's one win. And also you learn different phrases in English because English has a lot of phrases with
Idioms,
verbs
stuff like
and
that.
idioms, expressions, that are, I think the most challenging part of English is those expressions.
Right.
Yeah.
The grammar is not that difficult. I mean, that's my opinion, but the idioms and all these expressions for sure. For sure. And songs
Those
are
are the
amazing.
tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and songs are full of idioms.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to learn, have a few idioms here and there that you can use all the time, because usually songs have very common expressions,
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, what I sometimes see is that singers can sing in different languages by actually not understanding what they're singing, or they still understand what they're singing. Like, it's just a question. Like, let's say if you were to sing a song in Japanese, for example, you would just have to repeat, right? Like, or you still try to understand what it means.
How I have done it, and it is a challenge, is to clear the words, to know okay, so this sound, let's say, okay, I don't read Japanese in this case, because it's a different alphabet. But if I can phonetically, like the sounds, okay, duplicate, which means to be able to copy it in your mind, So if I can repeat that, and I know that that means flower, at least I know what I'm saying. It's not like I'm walking and like, and I don't even know what I'm saying. So I try to have like an idea of what I'm saying, and at least say like maybe the song says, the flowers are beautiful, so are you. I am in love with you. And I know that it's a romantic song, and I have the concept, the idea, and what the words mean. Then I can work with that. One time I had to learn a song in Hebrew, just a little piece, Halevai. And then and I had to really practice, go ask somebody who actually speaks the language, check my pronunciation, but I made sure that I knew what I was saying. So that helps me when I'm singing, that I'm actually singing the idea, like transmitting, transferring that concept, not that I'm thinking about romance and the song is about peace, world peace, or whatever, or joy. And I'm like super calm.
Yeah, you mentioned communication as part of the performing. So, I mean, how can you communicate if you don't have the concept? I mean, obviously, this is like, you need to understand if it's a romance or this is like sad or like what's going on here. Yeah, like what's the message basically, right?
Or even understand what each sentence means. So, when you're studying and practicing beforehand, you have an idea, okay, this guy is going to the war and he's leaving his girl and he's in love with her and he wants to send her a flower. And you know what pretty much what each sentence is saying. You have that idea. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So how many languages did you have experience singing in? Like obviously English and Spanish and Hebrew, you mentioned Hebrew. Anything else?
Well, Honestly, to be honest, like the ones that I feel comfortable in singing are English and Spanish. But because life gives you challenges and life is an adventure, even though sometimes in the middle of the adventure, you're like, "Arr, arr," but then you make it go right and it's fun, in the end. But I have to say, I've had to sing in French, in Hebrew a little bit, just a little part of a song, Italian, um, English and Spanish. And Russian, I cannot say I've sang in Russian. I've only played with Kalinka, Malinka, Malinka, but I don't even know it. But that doesn't count.
Nice. What do you know any words in Russian, by the way? My audience is always
Yes.
Go ahead.
Listen, what I did before going to Moscow back in 2013 was that I grabbed a note on my phone and I asked somebody who spoke Russian, how do you say yes? How do you say no? How do you say goodbye? How do you say bon appetit? So I know нет, right? I know da. I know пока. I know пока. I know красиво.
Oh.
You красиво. I know приятного аппетита.
Oh my God, that's big. That's big to pronounce. Yeah. Well
Yes, obviously, спасибо, пожалуйста.
Nice.
Those are the basic ones, and a few other that I forgot.
Excellent. Yeah, so you are now in Mexico, right? Is that your
Yes.
permanent residence? That's where you decided to, to make your home?
Yes, because of turns of life, I am in Mexico and I kind of built a career here. And my family is back in Puerto Rico, so I'm trying to be there as much as possible. But right now I live in Mexico City.
And I mean, since we, got to know each other, you've already visited like 3 continents. So, I mean, you are kind of all over the place. A citizen of the world.
Because we were like in this cruise ship, we went to several islands and I came back to Mexico. Then I went to Germany. Then I came back to Mexico. Visiting also Amsterdam on the connection, so yes, I'm a citizen of the world.
Absolutely.
That's a good way of
That's where we can connect, because I mean, for me and my husband, for my family, we've been traveling a lot on business and for pleasure as well, but that gave us a great opportunity to meet great people like you, so we really appreciate it. Okay,
likewise.
Good. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So it brings me to the next question. We are all basically, it doesn't matter what we do, if we work at a regular job or we are professionals or we are artists, we are all trying to be happy, right? Like people try to be happy. And I'm sure that with all your travel experience, that's something like a common denominator, which you probably see with people. It doesn't matter where a person is coming from. He really tries to make a better living for himself, for his family, for close people. So how would you define happiness? Like, what is happiness for you?
Yes, for me it boils down to following your dreams, going against all obstacles, continuing, because when I'm happiest is when I'm actually being true to me, like loyal to myself, to when I go like really happy is because I'm getting closer to what I want. So I would say it has a lot to do with dreams, big dreams, and moving towards those dreams and not giving up, going through the barriers, going through the obstacles, remembering in the first place what was your illusion, what was your big dream that you had in your head, and just grabbing onto that and dreaming it again. And also, of course, that would involve helping, that your dream involves helping people, I would think.
Yeah. I'm seriously thinking that when people think that they can be happy just by themselves, this is a very strange idea. Exactly. Like you cannot be happy without making other people happy. That's for sure.
Yes, that's so true. That's so true.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. So, you know, my audience are people like of different ages, right? So some of them over 40, some of them over 50. So like, I believe this is a big misconception that, okay, it's too late to dream big dreams, or this is too late to, you know, go study the language and start communicating and seeing world differently, or whatever, too late, too early. What would you say? Like, what would you recommend? Maybe like 2, 3 things to look at or to start thinking about if a person is not really happy but wants to be more happy.
Okay, so first, regarding the too late, I think that's something that haunts all of us, or many of us at least. It's like one of those things that we all struggle because there's so much pressure with age and goals, and like you should have done this, and like all this like, you know. So maybe I think I apply it to myself. I have to be humble enough to say I've gone through that too, and I have to get rid of that idea. Otherwise, I can't be happy because I can't reach more goals, and then I would be like invalidating myself as I'm not good enough because I'm a certain age or I'm certain this. But more like, well, like I have a philosophy, and it is, I can't say the word here on camera, but one of my successful actions is like, F that, you know, like if there's something that is suppressing you, that is like putting you down, that, and you, in my case, I compare everything to the stage because that's what I do all the time, you know. But I'll give you an analogy and I'll go back to the question. One time I was really scared because in a show, when I was starting to perform with this band, there was this, and I was like at the very beginning of my career, there was this person in the audience that I was kind of not comfortable with, and it was like looking at me like sending me bad vibes, you know, like that kind of person that you're like, oh, this person doesn't like me. And this person is gonna sit there the whole show. And I know, you know, and I was so nervous, you know, and we were about to start the show. And I told the music director, like, I'm super scared. Like just 1 minute before starting the concert. He said, why? I said, because this person is there and it's looking at me so bad and I don't know what to do. And I feel like I'm gonna mess up the song, or like she's criticizing me with her eyes, you know? And he said, F her. So, like it just changed everything for me. I'm like, yeah, who cares? Like really, like, okay, you want to, like, who cares? Like it cannot affect what you want to do, you know. But it's easy for me to do it in a show, to be like, okay, then I'm gonna do it better. I'm gonna flourish and prosper even more. I'm gonna do it better because, you know, I'm gonna use that motion or that situation for the better of everything else. But it's really hard sometimes because you have people in your life that are like, you can't do this, you're too old, you're too this, or I don't like that, or, you know, all this criticism that doesn't help at all. So sometimes you have to be independent from that and be like, thank you, no thank you, and just focus on the people that actually support you and want to vibe with you and want to, you know, like to create, you know. So yeah, I would say that. And the question, because you said that about, you know, like the idea of like, it's a certain age, you can't do, like, you have to give up on your goals. And I think that's honestly not true. You have to continue your goals, you know. And then the other question was, what do I do to be happy, right?
Yeah, what would you recommend? But basically you answered the question.
Yes, I think so.
Good thing.
Just flourish and just do your thing.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
continue.
Exactly. Believe in your dreams, you know what makes you happy, and just continue. Yeah, make sure that you're following your dreams and goals.
And believe in yourself, even when nobody believes in yourself.
Yeah, well, that's a powerful one, by the way, because most of the people need acknowledgement. You know, they need acknowledgement from somebody else, like validation from somebody else. And especially for artists, I think it's a big deal. Like you kind of want acknowledgement from your audience, which is a good thing and it should be. But I mean, yeah, you still need to be strong enough. I guess that's my, vision and my idea of what it is. Yeah, you need to have a strong enough idea to keep creating what you want to create. Is that right?
Yes. Like you are doing, like I'm doing, like many people fortunately are, like, oh my God, no, I can't give up on what I want, like that's you, that's your essence, that's your happiness,
Yep, totally, guys. So hope you're gonna use this advice. This is very big. Follow your goals, follow your dreams, and never ever let anybody invalidate them. That's like, just surround yourself with people who would support you. That's very important.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
Brenda.
then just like skip the whole invalidation thing.
Yeah, that's why I love to, and again, I said I'm super happy and honored to have you as a friend and having met you, and you're an amazing soul, amazing being. And I mean, that's one of the, yeah, absolutely. So that's one of my life strategies. I would be honest with you, if I find people I really like and I feel in the presence of these people, I get better and I can contribute to these people. I mean, come on, this is your environment, this is creation. This is like, this is just expands and expands and expands. I mean, one of my very good friends, Jim Mathers, you know him.
I love him
very well. Exactly. So that's what he's talking about. He's like, when you find people who really like uplift you and support you, like you have to make them your like friends number one. I mean, because it's super important, to surround yourself like that. Yeah.
1,000,000%. Yes.
Amazing. So, Brenda, we're coming up to the end of our interview today. And my last question would be, so what are you working right now, on? Something you are trying to create, or like your goals and dreams, something we could support right here.
You're so special. First of all, it's very nice to meet you too, and to call you a friend. And I'm going to steal that concept, because it's so beautiful too. Also, you can do so much better when you're surrounded with beautiful people. So that's really cool. And thank you for being in my life too, for being a good friend. And it was great to meet you. And regarding what I'm doing now, my dream right now, I want to finish a CD, like an album, and with completely new music. So I've been writing songs so that I can have work to choose from. And I would love if everybody can sign up to my website. It's www.brendamarie.tv, and they can connect with me there, sign up. Anybody from here can get there's a song on the music store there called That Fire. I'll give it for free for everybody who goes today and checks that out. You can download it to your email. And so it's a gift for everybody here. But what I'm trying to what I'm trying to work on right now is recording new music that is kind of like around rock, soulful, kind of music with a bit of a Latin element. And I would like to record this album and release it in the next few months. You could totally support that. And also, I'll be performing a lot. I would love to see one of you in a show, or you can hire me for a show, whatever is possible. And so those things are what I'm working on, keep performing around the world, keep flourishing and prospering, keep believing, in my own dreams, inspiring people to continue also dreaming, and create music that sets a good example. We need more, I feel like there's a need of music that, has a good message, not just flowers, but just like a beautiful message or something that is uplifting. So I'm trying to work on that.
Wow, amazing, Brenda. So I strongly believe that the end of our interview today would be a couple of lines of your song of your own, if you could sing it for us at the end.
Oh, right now, like an original song?
Yeah, like your original song, whatever is your creation. Yeah.
Well, I have a rock song that is called Gladiator that I think summarizes this whole interview. And the chorus says, "Fight, I am a gladiator. fight, I am a gladiator. I forgot my own lyric. Wait. I haven't performed that one. Wait. Fight, I am a gladiator. I fight for the glory. If you don't want me to survive, watch me as I thrive. Something like that. I'm breaking free, making a new world. Pledging to my vision of love. I know I'm unstoppable as the sun. And basically as the chorus, you know. Although I forgot one verb there because I'm too jet lagged still.
No problem.
But it's like that, yeah. Fight. I am a gladiator. I fight for the glory. If you don't want me to survive, watch me as I thrive. I'm breaking free, making a new world, pledging to my vision of love. I know I'm unstoppable as the sun. So that's
wow. Well, speak about music with the message. That's for sure.
Oh, thank you.
It's music with the message.
Thank you. So I hope you enjoy that one and any of the other songs that are there, videos and music. There's some Spanish songs too that I did in the pandemic, but mainly I have English music.
Amazing. We're definitely going to check out your website, which we're going to post right after this interview is finished, and we post this video. And yeah, Brenda, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to introduce you to my audience and for you to be so inspiring and so motivational. And guys, by the way, let us know in the chat if you really, really feel more motivated today after this talk, because I mean, that's what it actually creates for you when you surround yourself with people who are creating the future. You know, they're following their dreams, and they believe in themselves, they believe in others. And that's the point, you know, like you can do anything if you set whatever you set your mind to, but just make sure that your life is set up in a way that you have people surrounding you who support you. So
yes, and I thank you for inviting me. You're amazing. It was a pleasure also for me, like super refreshing, and it made me realize so many things along the way. And I just want to say one more thing.
Of course.
To anybody who's listening, you are perfect and you're amazing. That's all.
Wow. Thank you, Brenda. Well, hope this interview did a good start for your day, right? Made your day.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we'll keep seeing you, and we wish you all the success with releasing of your album. And yeah, we're going to be checking out your website, your social media pages, supporting you, and so nice to connect with you today.
Likewise.
Пока-пока.
Пока. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, Brenda. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us live today, okay? And below the video, you're gonna find all the references we talked about, and if also you need to improve your English to connect with such amazing people as Brenda around the world, please go ahead, and we also posted the link there, how you can connect with us, okay? Thank you so much. Yeah, I see the nice comments in the chat. Guys, have a nice evening, and we see you next Wednesday. We have an next amazing guest coming up.